Hi, my name is Julie, and I'm the girl with a brush. And we're back in my studio to make, create, and imagine a prompt for the Junk Journal January 2024 challenge. So if you're ready, go grab your brush. Welcome back. And today we are going to be completing day 7 for Junk Journal January, which is stitched. And what I did ahead of time was I picked out this image. This is actually a picture that I took in my yard in the spring because I love these fiddle heads. They are one of my favorite things. As a matter of fact, if you listen carefully in my first couple of videos, you can hear squawking, and that is my parrot, and her name is Fiddle. And I cut this out, and I was going to stitch it on this page, but when I looked at this page, I already had put these things on there and I didn't want my stitches coming through it. So take a look. I don't mind seeing the stitches. If this page were next, I could see the stitches and then I could decide to cover them or not, but I didn't want the stitches on that page. So I added this to a blank piece of paper, and then it looked like they were floating, so I added this at the bottom. And then when I set it in my book, I had white space top and bottom. So I just ripped, this was a piece of a magazine that was laying here, and I just glued it so that when I put that down, it'll be like that. So now what we're going to do, I have one of my needles, and my favorite needles for journaling are either darning needles or doll needles. And the reason that I like these needles is because they're thicker, they're longer, they have a nice big eye. You don't have to fiddle too much to thread it. And I'm just using some embroidery floss. This is the brand DMC, and it's number 702. I don't think it has a name. Green. It's just green. And what I did was I split the strand in half. So I actually have 3 of the 6 little strands, and then I tied a knot on the end. Okay. And I didn't think you needed necessarily to see me do all of that. So you can do this a couple of ways. You can just stitch right into the card, or one of the other things that you could do, because I think I'm gonna kind of stitch over here. I think I'm gonna make my own little stem stitch or something here. I don't know. I'm gonna poke some holes and then we'll see. So you can poke some holes ahead of time. This is my awl that I use. You can also poke these with your needle, but the thing about the awl is it's just better in your hand. It's easier. I have this book under here. Okay. And then I'm gonna take my knot and I'm gonna start in this bottom hole, and I'm gonna start to stitch. And I think that, sorry, thread spaghetti. I think that what I'm gonna do maybe is just a little running stitch. So a running stitch is just up, down, up, down. And you don't have to know the names of stitches to stitch in your journal. The most important things are that you pick a fun color thread and you don't stick yourself. I have done that before. So, but you know, even if you bleed on your journal page, I think it's okay. So.
All right, so what I'm gonna do, just gonna go up and down. If you want to connect that, you can go back the other way. I think what I'm actually gonna do is I'm gonna make another hole here because I kind of want this to look like a little twig or something. So I'm just gonna come back down, and when you do that and you're not going in a line, it's just called a straight stitch. Come up in that hole. See, the great thing about these darning needles is that they really are, they are sharp and they are sturdy. So there is some little stitching, and I'm actually going to fill some of this in. Go back the other way. Oh, I kind of split that. That's a whole nother stitch. We don't have to talk about that. Now I'm just going to knot this on the back. So kind of go through the closest string, and I usually knot it just one more time. So you just go under the closest string and then through the loop and pull. And the other thing that I do is I also will tape that with some washi tape just in case. And so now we've got some stitching on there, and I kind of feel like it needs a little something. I'm gonna take a Pitt brush pen. We can link these. I really like these because they are highly pigmented ink, but you know, you can kind of smear them a little. One important thing is if you do use them, you want to make sure that you don't put them in glue because you'll ruin the tip. So we got a little color there. And I think what I really want get a little bit crazy here because it's about stitching, but I'm gonna poke a bunch of holes here. And if this doesn't work, you know, yeah, that's why we collage. Okay. Now, what I have done is I have punched the word grow because it just seemed like it needed something, and I didn't put a bunch of color on the card. So I'm going to pull this away, and through the magic of editing, I'm going to stitch this, oops, very, very fast. Okay, there we are. Now, what I'm going to do, I don't know if I'll need it. We'll see how big the journal ends up being. But I'm going to turn this into a hidden pocket. And you could do this a couple of ways. My glue is like really stuck. Something in it. I'm going to use my tape again. This is easier. I could have glued an entire piece on the back of this, like to cover all the stitches, but I'm just going for it. And what I'm doing, I was going to glue it, but my glue wasn't coming out. I'm using just double stick tape that you can get on Amazon or at the dollar store or at any craft store. And pulling those edges up. I want to make sure you push it down all the way around before you pull up, because then it's not stuck. And then you just pull the sticky off. And if you notice, what I have done is I have pulled it halfway and I've bent it. And I learned this from Diane Reevely. Oh, and I didn't do it upside down. Should always check. And the great thing about this is, see how it lets me slide it around to position it? That's touching. And I love that because, you know, if you take all of the tape off, which we've all done the first time, you only get one chance. So here we go. So I've got this down. I'm going to push both ways because I don't remember which way. And then you just, that way, pull that out. And so it gave me the opportunity to slide this around to reposition it before I made a commitment. And then I will make a tag of some sort, or there may be another prompt, and I can stick it in there. I can even give us a hint that it's a little pocket. Oh, I was afraid. I don't want to cut through my letters. Oh, there's the hole. Okay. There we go. For that, I just used a circle punch. I can link these in the description. Just a circle punch. And you go halfway in and you have an instant tuck spot. And the last thing from my extra sheet. Oops, look at, I broke that. I need to stitch my stitched back together, which would actually be kind of funny. I should sort of do that. And I'm just going to put it right down here with my matte gel medium. Stitched. It's okay if it's, I think it's actually kind of funny that it's not perfect because it looks like, you know, and take some Stabilo. We still have all that wet matte medium. And I've got the green from that. And there we go. That is it.
Thanks for joining me while we completed one of the prompts for the Junk Journal January 2024 challenge. We'll put that information down in the description so that you can grab the prompts and the ephemera. And I hope that you saw something that inspired you. And if you learned something or you were inspired by something, please like and subscribe this video. And now it's your turn, so go grab your brush.